next class, we will be starting our new section on international political economy. So please make sure that you have that reading taken care of. And we're going to talk in general about approaches to international political economy. And then on Friday, remember, your next paper is due. So the idea was you had time to hear about peace studies. You had time to get your papers back, to see these comments, and see where some things are still maybe going wrong. Reflect on and incorporate this, and write up some great papers for Friday. If you have any questions while working on those papers, Matt has his office hours Wednesday night. I've always got my office hours. You can also, of course, always set up an appointment with me to walk through and get any help that you need on getting a good paper set and ready to go for Friday. So before I turn it over to Professor Fuller, any questions that people have? Okay, great. All right, the floor is yours.
Man, they're limiting with teach nowadays. Yeah, just a reminder, I have office hours on Wednesday from 7 to 8 at Mom's. So I know you all have a paper due Friday, so if you want to come over and kind of like review some concepts, especially about war, peace, obviously, or anything kind of related that we want to talk about in the paper, might be a good idea to stop on down. All right, cool. So today, obviously, I'm teaching a lecture on peace studies, but I think before we get started, we need to start kind of think about what exactly is peace. So can anyone give me kind of examples about either what they think peace entails, peaceful events, or even peace you guys read in the news? You guys are supposed to kind of look at the papers. Yes.
Well, in the Friday paper, yeah, they were on the front page, two Kenyan rivals to share power and bid for peace. It's a step, it sounds like a step towards peace, but it seems like it's going to be difficult because I guess they're so strongly opposed to each other that I think it's going to be difficult when they finally combine.
Yeah, exactly. That's a big one that popped up on Friday. If you all have been following the events that have been going on in Kenya, the two main political parties inside of Kenya have been extremely on opposite sides of elections. There was a disputed election, and then there's also been some violence as a result of this political clash. Kofi Annan has been in Kenya for about a week now, and he actually just left on Sunday trying to broker kind of a power sharing deal between the two parties. We'll get into that a little more. Does anyone else have anything? Does anyone have any general ideas about what does peace mean to you? Yeah.
Harmonious interactions, non-violence, absence of
Harmonious, non-violence, and what was the other one?
absence of conflict or war.
Sure. Does anyone else have anything? Yeah.
Like resolution to cooperation.
Good. Resolution to cooperation, kind of like what we were just talking about, and Kenya peace agreements there. Does anyone else have any examples of peace? Anything at all? Not necessarily in the news, but your own perception of peace. What is peace? Yeah, one more.
I just had a question about Jessica's definition regarding violence.
Mm-hmm.
Would you count conflict and violence in order to get peace as part of that, and therefore kind of disallow that, or is it just kind of in the moment, no violence that moment, like what happened before doesn't matter?
That's a good question. We'll actually kind of get into that more, but if I don't answer that, definitely ask it again. That's an important part we need to touch on. Anyone else have any last examples of peace? When I read your inventories about you guys, a lot of you were in the group piece by piece. Does that mean anything? Apparently not. All right. So when we're looking at peace studies, we're looking at Ho Wong Jong and a lot of other authors cite that there are two different types of peace. There's negative peace and there's positive peace. Negative peace is a lot of what we thought about when we thought about peace. Non-violence, absence of conflict, kind of this idea of and a little bit this idea of cooperation. With negative peace, there's a clear subject and action. If I walk up to Adonis and hit him, that would be direct violence. And then him hitting me back would also be direct violence. It's a joke, you can laugh, right? So, with direct violence, that's kind of what we think. That's what we think about when we think about peace: the absence of direct violence. With direct violence, there's direct subject action, and there's clear suffering. Someone pays for the violence, whether it's physical, it's emotional, or it's verbal. Examples that we can think of with direct violence include stuff like war, direct conflict, torture, terrorism, and even basic stuff in our everyday lives like robbery or any kind of physical conflict. Now, can anyone give me some more concrete examples about direct violence? PJ?
War, some.
More? All right. What else? Is this idea kind of clear what I'm talking about with negative peace? I think it's also important. I kind of missed something there. The negative peace involves the absence of direct violence, which is this. Sorry, I wasn't clear on what I determined there. What terminology there. Direct violence is that subject action. The negative peace is the absence of that direct violence. Does that kind of clear stuff up?
So
Kind of
it's,
there. Yeah.
so it's not like, so negative peace is peace, but it's just like, it's measured as peaceful because there's nothing negative there.
Because there's an absence of what is known as as direct violence.
Okay.
Direct violence being this subject action, something we can tangibly see, feel, and notice.
So the negative is not changing the peace. It's kind of the actions involved with that. It seems like because you get the idea of negative peace, meaning bad peace, something like that. That's
Yeah.
what I'm getting, but it's the absence of negativity. Makes sense, maybe.
Yeah, I guess you can look at it. It's the absence of direct violence. There's actually kind of this debate whether or not even negative peace is the correct term for this absence of direct violence, and that's something we get into with Professor Kille's peace studies class. But right now we're just going to look at 6. So this would be direct violence. So we have war, conflict, direct conflict, and fighting. And I'm sorry, I write like a 3-year-old. If we're looking, we go back to Kenya really quick. We talked about Kenya a lot in this class. It's very current international affairs issue, and you all should kind of be keeping up on it. In Kenya, starting in December, there was a lot of direct violence. People were shooting each other, people were killing each other. And the reasons why are just still kind of sketchy. Well, not sketchy, but they're debatable. But in Kenya, no matter what, there was still very much evidence of this idea of direct violence. Is everyone just kind of clear on direct violence? I know I kind of skipped a little step there. Now the opposite we would have of direct violence would be structural violence. This concept is a little fuzzy. So instead of me trying to babble about it, we're going to look at Jean on page 25, I believe. So if y'all got that ready, let's pull it up. John states on 25, and we're looking on about the bottom of the first paragraph there, the concept of positive peace, based on a broad understanding of social conditions, means the removal of structural violence beyond the absence of direct violence. That's not quite what I want. Alright, cool. I like confusing you guys, honestly, I really do. So that way you all come to my office hours. So anyway, if we go down to the next paragraph, the element of various forms of discrimination based on class, ethnic, tribal, age, religion, racism, and sexism is a precondition for human realization. Equality as social and legal rights is both a means and a goal of positive peace for groups and individuals. Well, that's kind of more or less talking about positive peace, but inside of that, John kind of talking about structural violence.